Hey everyone, welcome to Therapy 365. This is episode 8. Ask Lisa. I'm uncomfortable with my boyfriend's relationship with his female friend. So, over the years, many people have asked for my feedback on their relationship dilemmas via email. And early on, I used to respond to some of these questions and post them and my responses on Love and Life Toolbox with their permission. So, that question, this issue of having a boyfriend or a partner and being uncomfortable with a relationship, a friendship that they have, has come up a number of times. So I've adapted a question that I will read that tells a story, right? A scenario, and then I'll give you my thoughts afterward. So here goes. My boyfriend and I have been dating for about 2 years. He has a female best friend who I feel interferes with our relationship. They were friends before we met and worked together. They meet all the time for coffee before work, have lunch together, and they often bike together and do other activities on the weekends. Whenever he's not with me, he's basically with her, or he's communicating excessively by email or texting. He thinks she's an incredible person, never has said anything negative about her to me, and as it turns out, most of their coworkers used to assume they were dating before he started dating me. Though he says it's never been like that between them, he definitely seems to be the man in her life. She tends to alienate any third person who joins them, and she clearly doesn't like me, basically ignores me, and doesn't look at me or say hello when we're together in a group. Even when they've spent most of the week together on any given week, she invites him to do things with her on the weekends, the only time he and I have to spend time together. A lot of the time he's with her, he seems to forget about me. He doesn't respond to my texts sometimes, or if he does, he can't remember what I've said in them later. He knows when I'm not happy about this, and we rarely talk about it. When I have told him how I feel, he reassures me that I shouldn't feel threatened by her and that I am his priority. My friends and family think I'm crazy to be putting up with this, and it just keeps going on and on. He spends way more time with her than me. I don't understand why he can't see how uncomfortable this is and do something about it. It's not like I don't believe men and women can't be friends, but this is seriously impacting how I feel in the relationship. And she's given me no reason to feel secure. In fact, her dismissiveness and demands on his time, dismissiveness of me and demands on his time, are exacerbating the situation. I feel conflicted because in so many ways he's a wonderful man, but this just doesn't feel right. So there are a number of things that come up for me in this scenario. The first thing is, it's really curious to me how he rationalizes that much of his time is spent with her, but it would come up for anyone outside of the relationship. I mean, let's say that she was a male friend. Would this not still be impactful? So I really wonder about his views on what a relationship looks like. My recommendation to a couple, let's say, that was in my office and were maybe talking about this, was that, that they try to get more clarity around their expectations of what a relationship looks like, what they expect out of it regarding the balance of the relationship, how much time they spend together versus apart, doing other things, all that stuff. That comes up a lot. And a lot of times, if it's not talked about, I've seen people who get married and actually have never really fully understood what that looks like and have some frustration. So that it's important to make sure that you're clear and see if you can meet each other's needs in that way. So the other thing that is worrisome to me is, and a red flag to be honest, is the female friend's energy towards this woman. You would think if the relationship wasn't intimate in any way, that she would want to go out of her way to make her feel comfortable and embrace her and be open. So it makes me wonder if she really would like to be with him. I mean, it kind of looks like that, and I can't understand why she would be cold and dismissive. So if I was working with this couple, I would want to understand how he is missing this piece. Is he not at all wondering if she may want more, and what about the possibility that he's also conflicted? I'd want to really try to put honesty on the table, maybe for the first time, to see if there's anything there to talk about. So the other thing I'm concerned about in this scenario is really the boyfriend's overall lack of understanding and empathy for his girlfriend's concerns. She's made attempts to tell him how she feels. And it doesn't sound like there's any modifications to what he's doing. He's still kind of maintaining his status quo, and she's getting more and more frustrated and I think probably resentful. So he's really running the risk of ultimately losing her at some point, even if he doesn't intend to. So I would want to help him to try to put himself in her shoes and experience himself what she might be feeling if it was happening to him and she was the one engaged in a relationship with someone else like that. Even a friend, I mean, with all the time, it seems very skewed. I noticed that, clearly she's been really patient and feels like he's a good guy and doesn't seem to want to make any moves to get rid of him, break up. But I'm a little worried about her lack of assertiveness and her boundary setting. So that's what I would want to talk to her about. Clearly nothing's changing and she is still uncomfortable and not happy. So that's not a good thing for the long term. And ultimately she could just give up. So my recommendation again to her would be to bump up her assertiveness around the things that are important to her, be able to articulate them and repeat them if needed. Because this situation is literally harming the emotional safety of this relationship, and that can really make or break things. So lastly, most importantly, speaking of emotional safety, it's really so critical to the overall health of any relationship. And if you've been following my work on Love and Life Toolbox or have worked with me in therapy before, you know that this is a topic I put a lot of emphasis on. And in this scenario that I presented, there are a number of indicators that the emotional safety for her in particular is being compromised. She's dealing with issues of trust, not feeling prioritized, not feeling heard and validated. And if her boyfriend was meeting these needs better, he would be altering his behavior, and he's not. So the reality is any relationship that's enduring long periods of time where there's disconnection and unresolved issues with emotional safety are at a really high risk for one or both simply giving up hope. And when you get into the land of hopelessness, the relationship may be at the end of its course and at the end of its rope unless hope can be restored. So, in the next episode, I'm going to look at authenticity and 6 indications that you are living an authentic life. So as usual, check out Love and Life Toolbox for emotional health and relationship content. And if you need a consultation, I'm happy to do that by email. You can click on Ask Lisa. And as always, take care of yourself and remember that at Therapy 365, you're always a work in progress.